Got
That's you. That's you right there.
Got Worship Brother Joe over here. Worship Master Joe over here. He's got his large security behind me over here.
Yep. Just making sure that
I'm a little
everything is
fucking
on the
nervous.
up and up.
I'm a little
you
guy.
should be.
I'm a little guy.
He's like twice your height.
I talk a lot of shit too, so I'm a little nervous. Hello and welcome to the Freemasons podcast with your hosts, right, Worship Brother George Mudry.
And Worship Brother Ken.
And we are here with special guest, Worship Master of Harmony Lodge number 42, Joe Pisani.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I was trying to get your last name correct before, and it's Joe Pisani, right?
You got it perfect, yeah.
Okay, so like the other Joe we have, I'm going to piss on him tonight because he's not here.
Yeah,
So.
that's Big Kev over there, by the way. Lodge Security, Harmony Lodge 42, Waterbury.
The Waterbury Mafia.
The Waterbury Mafia.
So, yeah, Ken, we went and did a thing, and we traded a Joe. We sold him on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, I see it as upgrading.
Now we have a better-looking Joe.
Yeah.
And he's got a perfectly bald head, too.
Perfectly symmetrical.
Not like mine, but I'm just saying, like...
You're a lucky man. Not every man has a head. Ooh, there goes my monitor again.
That's all right.
Not every man has a head that is conducive to shaving all of the hair off of it and still looks right. Like
I mean,
some heads are lumpy and
just saying.
some are
I'm trying to talk
misshapen.
shit here in order to get freaking Joe.
That's why I'm looking
Zanino.
at you.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, all right, better beard,
Yeah, better beard.
better head,
Yep.
better dressed.
Much better
Just saying.
dressed.
Think
And he smells better, too. I don't know what that cologne is you're wearing, man, but it smells, it's good. It's nice.
Versace Dreamer. But
Oh,
I
okay,
appreciate
yeah.
it.
No, of course it is. Of course it's Versace.
Hey, Ken, you want to switch to the screen so we can see comments? If there's any?
Yeah, I'm sure they're already.
Dumbass.
Oh, Jim Devaney. Hello.
But anyway, we're up here. We're going to talk about your Masonic career, but first we got some homework to do.
We do indeed. And Instagram.
You don't even have it up. You don't even have it up.
Jesus
Jesus
Christ.
Christ.
Up. I was talking to my buddy Joe over here. Give me one moment.
New guy over here. That's fine. I'll start with the Apple
it's
reviews.
like we do the same thing every podcast.
Every time.
You would
And
think
every time you got to dig in your freaking into your prison wallet to go get the phone.
You would think I would have.
5-star review, Apple review. Love it. It's from Local 50. Started listening in November, learned a lot, and had a lot of laughs. Love these guys. Good mix of information and good old plain shenanigans. We love the shenanigans.
Yeah. That's pretty much what we founded the show on.
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
We do shenanigans all the time.
Shenanigans
then
are
we started-
essential.
I
Yep.
swear to God, if you say shenanigans one more time, I'll pistol whip you. Hey, Farva, where's that place you like eating all the time? The goofy shit on the walls. Shenanigans? Oh. Super Troopers, nobody?
Yeah. I still haven't seen
Still
that
haven't seen it. Of course you have.
You never
Sorry,
saw
brother.
it?
That's why I brought it
It's a
up.
classic.
Because I asked him like 3 freaking years ago to watch it, and he's like, "Oh, I'll watch it."
Yeah,
Never did.
That and Euro Trip, yeah, they're on my Netflix list. I just haven't had a chance.
As of December, I've received my EA, working on my proficiency. Try it again. Proficiency now. P.S. Hello from Oregon Bend Lodge number 139.
Oh, right on.
Nice.
Way out there.
Ken, lead it.
Yeah. Well, okay, that's right. I'm gonna toast before we do the Instagram. All right.
God, you're slow.
Have you seen us do this before,
Have you
Joe?
seen us do this?
Yeah,
toast?
Yeah, well, once in the episode I just watched.
Kev, are you familiar with
over
this
here,
at all?
familiar.
Oh, you're
It's
gonna
like from
learn.
Table
This
Lodge.
is-
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Kev's recently raised too, Master
Yep.
Mason,
All
by
right.
the way. So
All right.
congratulations, Kev, and you're about to learn the
So-
Freemasons podcast toast.
Like a table lodge with a
different.
twist.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So it's basically right hand to arms, ready, aim, fire, good fire, fire all. Together, brothers. 1, 2, 3, drop. Clap, 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 clap. Vivat, vivat, vivat.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah, I think I got it.
Kind of fucking up.
I'll lead it. You
Brothers,
ready,
right hand. Oh, you gonna lead it?
You
All right.
told me to. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did. Go ahead.
Wow, we're all kinds of sloppy today. Brothers, right hand to arms.
2 arms.
Ready.
Ready.
Aim.
Aim.
Fire good fire. Fire all. Together, brethren. Vivat, vivat, vivat.
Beautiful.
Hey, that was
Not
on
bad.
time. Yeah, that was well done.
Not bad.
All right.
All right, now we got to recharge because over on Instagram, we've got a few new followers. Not a,
That's good stuff.
and
What do we got
actually,
here?
Is that? You need some?
No, I said, what do we have? Sorry to cut you off.
no, that's right.
Redneck Riviera.
Redneck
Nice.
Riviera.
Yeah, it's all American small batch whiskey.
Fantastic.
We actually read your name 2 podcasts ago because
Okay.
you liked us recently. I think Bob First was the last one we talked about. So I am Lex J. Wilson, Megatron the Husky, which is an awesome name. So a dog is following us. It's a good looking dog too, and its name is Megatron, which is cool. Cliff Kincaid, Reagan Andine, Cole Hendricks, and Gregory Millsaps.
I wonder if they're any relation to Jimmy.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Well, if he decides to jump on while we're live streaming here, we can ask him.
Hey, Worship Master, you wanna lead this one? Give it the old shot.
Oh, we're gonna do a.
Another toast for the Instagram
Oh,
and YouTube and anybody
woefully
else.
The vast emptiness over here. All right.
I'm gonna let you. You did such a fine job already. I'm gonna let you go ahead.
Oh, you're gonna
Yeah,
let me.
okay.
You're gonna
Yep.
defer to me.
I'm gonna defer. Yep.
You want to make Kev do it? Kev, you want to lead it?
I'm not asking him.
on.
I'm terrified of him.
Come on, you're a master
Big as fuck.
ritualist.
He's the one who's gonna carry you out of here after.
Can
a couple
anybody
more
see me on the
times.
camera? I feel like I have a shadow casted on me over here, being so little and shit.
Yeah, this is great. I love this.
I don't know.
He's like on his best behavior now. This is awesome.
I am on my best behavior because I'm worried about getting the shit kicked out of me or punching the side of the head while I'm sitting here. So I'm not going to talk shit about this Joe, just the other one. So,
Well, thank you, brothers and friends. Brethren, right hand to arms.
2 arms.
Ready.
Ready.
Aim.
Aim.
Fire good fire. Fire all. Together, brethren. Vivat, vivat, vivat.
I was a little premature.
Yeah, that was,
We'll leave that one alone.
we should have ended on the first one. And
Somebody get that guy
That's
a
all right, we're
chair.
warming up.
Yeah. There's a bench. There's a bar stool over there. Go grab a bar stool. Park it.
yeah,
I forgot about the bar stool. Maybe we couldn't get him the mic because we're a little.
you're making the listeners nervous too, Kev. Sit down. All right, Josh McCrae. Good afternoon, brother.
Emboldened Adventurers. Hello. All right. So we're all done with that shit.
Yep. All of
Where's the bar stools? They should be right there. Oh, Kev.
Oh, he'll find his way. He's all right. You don't have to worry. He's not gonna come rushing
probably-
through the wall.
no, he's probably
like
doing
Lou
it.
Ferrigno.
There's bar stools right there. Yeah, just grab one of those. Like the Kool-Aid man, just bust the freaking door in. That's fine.
No,
might
those are pretty sturdy.
Put the
I
wine.
brought him up here in case I hit one of the two other idiots one day, but
Yeah.
and I like throwing things. Well, we were just talking. We have to get new mic stands and a new mic holder for
How's that?
whatever because the last mic stand failed on me and it got sailed. So
Yeah. No, it failed because you threw it
Flew.
across the room and destroyed it.
Rock and roll. Come on.
all right, so let's get into it.
Yeah.
Worship Master, what got you into Freemasonry, and how did you get to the door, if you will?
So I was interested in Freemasonry early on for several reasons. One in particular was I was aware of the association with Freemasonry with a lot of the founding fathers of this great nation, and this is actually the answer that I gave when I did my interview. And they asked me, "Well, why do you want to be a Freemason?" And I said, "Well, there's really no way to know for sure." What it is exactly that you guys do. I said, however, I do know that some of the most important men in history that I greatly admired and, their philosophies and what they gave to the world, through the intercession of American, fundamental beliefs. I said, that's something that I really want to be a part of. And that's what I said. And then I didn't know anybody really. Well, I didn't realize that I knew anybody that was actually a brother, with the exception of a cousin that I have on my mother's side, and it wasn't like I came from a family of Masons or I had family friends, at least at the time that I knew of, that were Masons.
Right.
And my cousin, he's a doctor of history and a professor, and he was also very into history. So I knew that. If he, when he became a Freemason, and he explained to me how fulfilling it, the experience was for him, that it was something that I would be interested in as well. He actually was one of he was actually the brother that recommended me.
Oh, very cool.
So yeah, that's how I got into Freemasonry, and I honestly can say in November it'll be 10 years for me.
Oh, wow.
Actually, an interesting fact: me and worshipful brother Ken were actually raised together. We went through, did all our degrees together.
Oh, no kidding.
And then we actually went on through York Rite and did those degrees together as well.
We were in the same class for both. Yep.
And that's how we met initially.
That's really cool.
And also out of our class, I guess you can call it, the guys that went through and took their degrees together. One brother moved away pretty shortly after, for work and school. But out of the remaining, all three of us have been able to serve as master of the lodge. So,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, it's pretty interesting how that all worked out, and at different times too.
It's a rarity
it's
that
not
that
like we all got
happens.
on the line at the same time. It was different points in our lives, and our terms are kind of spaced out. But yeah, it is a rarity that it happens.
It's a rarity
I found
that it
it
happens.
interesting.
I know that some of the people that I went through, and a couple of degrees I went through, they're c'est la vie.
Yeah,
They're gone.
disappeared,
They're-
Yeah.
That's actually more the norm, I think. You know, we're definitely outliers in that we have a whole class of guys that are active and
Again,
join the lodge.
some brothers stay with it. Some just kind of fall off. They die in the vine, unfortunately, along the way. It kind of sucks, but it happens.
It does happen. You know, and life takes you different places. You're not necessarily going to be in the same general area, you know, depending on what happens. And I moved away for about a year. I don't know if you remember, I moved to Colorado to work with my uncle.
I do remember
one
that.
of his businesses
in
the restaurant business for about a year. And I was in the line and I left, but then when I came back, you know, I was offered take my position back in the line, which I was really grateful for that I did that. But I almost you know, left. I think I was maybe, I don't know if I was like the junior deacon at the time or something like that.
Yeah, I think that was before we went through York, right? Too.
It was. It might have been. It might have been.
Yeah, well, that's a rarity too, that you leave and then come back and your line and or your position in your chair in the progressive line is available to you.
Yeah,
like you got really lucky there. It doesn't always work out that way.
It's strange how things kind of line up sometimes, you know.
So it makes sense that you're in the restaurant business because if I can ask your enforcer over here, where's that thing that you brought in?
Oh, the wine caddy.
Yeah.
I'm actually not in the restaurant business. My family's been in the restaurant.
Listen,
business,
your last name is Pisani, so it's either restaurant or garbage. I haven't figured out. Oh, excuse
We
me.
actually do
waste management. My bad.
We actually do steel fabrication, so you're not construction. You know, you're not
construction.
You're not far off, but. The wine caddy's great. I got a wine caddy initially for hunting, and now I kind of.
This is some good shit, by the way.
not bad,
this is
right?
so we're drinking. For those who are listening and not actually watching, we're drinking wine, this is probably the first time we've ever had wine on the podcast. Usually we're
absolutely.
Yeah, usually we're definitely not.
Usually we're about a half a bottle deep in the Buffalo Trace at this point.
Yeah. And we didn't even have to find wine glasses because, of course, we don't have them in this lodge. Worshipful Brother Joe brought his own. Like, who does that?
The wine caddy, you know.
It's freaking awesome. See, that's what I'm saying.
Pretty cool.
Just saying, this may have been a good upgrade.
Yeah,
It's not bad.
I remember.
You want to know about the wine?
Joe bringing a wine caddy up there.
We have a nice Sangiovese. That's actually from Campobasso province in Italy, which is actually where my mother's family's from.
So speak of Italy, you said you watched or listened to the last episode, and you have some information, some really cool information that I didn't know that you could possibly fill in for our listeners about the last episode, and also you have something in front of you there.
Oh yeah, so
That's
I brought.
cool.
I thought it was interesting. I have a friend who he's actually an American citizen, but he grew up in Italy, and he goes back and forth. He travels back and forth between the United States and Italy. And he brought me last time he came back. He brought me a box of Garibaldi cigars.
It's got the man's portrait right on the front.
The man's portrait's right on it. So he is definitely like I guess the equivalent of a George Washington figure for Italians. But I listened to the last podcast actually this morning just to kind of get familiar with your guys' platform.
The shenanigans.
And I wish the shenanigans are great. I wish I'd been listening all along. Unfortunately, I was slacking in that sense. But I did listen to the last podcast about Garibaldi, and you guys definitely raised a lot of important and interesting facts.
We were wrong about most of them, I'm sure. But.
No, you weren't wrong. So when you talk about this subject, it's interesting because you have to be able to look at it in the context of the period of the time.
Yep.
And I think once you do that, you can kind of see that like the reason maybe that people from that period, especially like boisterous figures like Garibaldi were so emboldened and impassioned and kind of like, this needs to go to the rest of the world. It's almost hard to resonate or be able to relate to people that existed in like extreme oppression in the sense where like the southern they weren't states, they were closer to what you said. It was like city-state entities. They were basically provinces in different territories. The South had historically been occupied and subjugated by all different entities, different monarchies, empires. I mean, we're going back even, if you can go back to the Roman times, the South has always been a tumultuous area. And at that point in history in the 1800s, right about when we were having our Civil War and trying to, emancipate and outlaw slavery and really unite the nation and all people in the nation. In Italy, it was like they were basically if you were a resident of rural Italy, like you were a farmer and you were subject to whatever entity ruled you, whatever they said goes. So you might be a farmer and you're keeping like 10% of all the the stuff you would produce, and the rest is going to. And it stayed in Italy like that for a long time.
So it was feudal.
It's definitely feudal, and I even have ancestry that I was fortunate enough to grow up with that lived in that part of Italy before World War II and during World War II, and it was even like that up until that point with the fascists, because they would tell you, well, if you love your country, you're going to give us 80% of all the wheat you harvest, because we need to supply the military in the war effort.
Right.
So you had people coming. You had people basically coming to the fold when they say they unified Italy. That's interesting in itself, because Romans see themselves as Roman, like they always have, even during the Roman Empire. Right. The idea of an Italic peninsula actually comes from the region of Italy where my father's family's from. And then this was pre-Roman Empire. There was a king in the region we now know as Calabria. His name was King Italus, and he was one of the first elders. This is when there was like tribes and clans, pretty similar to other archaic societies. He was the first to basically broker a day of peace between all of the tribes in that region. And what they did was they had a big dinner, and they would all share whatever they gathered and harvest. So it was in that sense, which is almost like, it's a very socialistic idea. It's like, we're all going to meet for a set period of time, and instead of killing each other, like, well, I got plenty of wine, but I don't have much meat, and you got plenty of meat, but you don't have much wine, so let's all come to the table. And it does definitely resonate with kind of Masonic principles.
Yeah. Yeah, and then my ancestors showed up, the Normans, and just started mashing the hell out of everything in southern Italy.
Screwed everything.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
the reason why, like I said, I've talked about it in the podcast before, but the reason why I bring that up is because my mother's last name is Perfetti. So I always thought I was Italian. Yeah, did one of those 23andMe, and guess what?
Yeah.
I'm 0.00 Italian, but I'm like 50% Scandinavian.
Okay. Yep.
And then when I started doing the history of my mother's name, sure shit, Parfit is actually Scandinavian. So I'm like, oh shit.
We still don't claim him as one of our own. We're going to do like a racial draft or something. The Italians can have George.
All right, we'll take him.
Scandinavia passes.
I
got
have
something for you right here.
I actually have blonde hair and blue eyes. My family's all Southern Italian. They're very dark. And on my mother's side, I had an uncle who always used to say, no, our family comes from a Viking lineage. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? You're like 4'9". I'd be like, what do you mean? He's like, no, I'm telling you, your great-great-grandfather was 7 feet tall, and he was a ginger. He had a red beard. And
ginger.
Oh, yeah. And I was like, he's saying drunk things, but no, there's definitely, that part of the world specifically was very integrated since the dawn of humanity.
Yeah,
with people conquering each other and occupying and mixing and mingling. So,
Marshall brother Joseph Schultz says George's ancestors were knee breakers. It's as high as they could reach.
Yeah, that's cute.
Nice. One of the things that just wondered, like, again, I don't think we shit on Garibaldi.
No, not at all.
We just think that he had. No, I'm not saying you were. I was thinking about it afterward. Like, the mindset back then was very much militaristic. Like, you had nations that were. I mean, Christ, look how long England and France went at it, and Spain. Like, it was just expansionism in a sense. So, for what Garibaldi was saying about, uniting Europe under, it's not far off if you really think about it.
Yeah.
Look at Napoleon, that little midget ass, he freaking tore ass all the way up to freaking Russia. So, I mean, it's kind of like the period of the time is that kind of was like the thing is we're going to unite all of Europe, and now here we are. We have the EU.
Yeah,
it's all fair.
We see how that's working.
I don't know if I don't know if he was their specific goal was an actual form of government or a solidified structure like that, but more in the sense of it was almost like a second Enlightenment period at that point in history. Like we were at war to end slavery in the United States. They were trying to end imperialism and colonialism in Europe, and that's, I think it's more in regards to, it was the principles. what we credit America for, saying, well, America was the example to the rest of the world what democracy and constitutional republics and human rights look like. And I think it was in more of that sense, but it definitely was militaristic because again, these people were a product of their time. You can't have any form of security if you don't have any kind of unity in your nation. You know what I mean?
Secondly, if you hear me laugh, it's because I'm looking at the comments of the shit. GG. Right. Gangrene. Yes, we know. Gangrene's in the house. Yeah. Funny thing you brought up, you were talking about before about America and Garibaldi.
Yeah. So there's an interesting. I didn't come prepared with the links to the articles, but you can research this on your own. I encourage you to. So Garibaldi, you actually touched on the fact that he was very active in South America.
Yeah.
And he really was a believer in the unification of the common man with the aristocracy at the time, and giving the common person a say in their, the determination of their own fate.
Right.
In South America, he was in exile because he had been trying to do what he eventually was able to do in Italy for a long time. And, they exiled him, and he went there, and I believe it was Uruguay. He helped them gain their independence. So at that point, he did travel to the United States afterwards, and this was during the time of our Civil War. And the reason they have the Garibaldi Lodge in Manhattan is because he actually attended lodge at that lodge.
So what was it, a different name, and then they changed it to Garibaldi?
I don't know. Sure. I'm not sure exactly what the name was. I know because I read this article. It was actually a while back. But what the reason I found the article is because the title of it was Abraham Lincoln secretly met with Garibaldi to offer him the position of commander of the Union forces. So basically, General Grant's job. Because
Grant was kind of a
Garibaldi was actually probably regarded as a superior strategist in general at the time in the global scale.
I mean, I could be wrong here, but wasn't like Grant? He was kind of like a drunk, wasn't he? He was. I
don't know, if
and
he
not
was,
really a skilled commander.
I don't know
right?
if he was the first choice for the job, but he definitely proved himself once he was able to given the opportunity. And that's the other thing too. Some of the greatest leaders are, their personal lives are train wrecks, but
trial by fire.
Yeah, look at Winston Churchill.
Sherman.
Sherman. Winston Churchill. Some of the greatest.
That son of a bitch is still hated in the South to this day.
Yeah.
Yep. So I guess Abraham Lincoln and Garibaldi met secretly, and Garibaldi was pretty. From what the article said, he was interested, but he was more concerned with doing what he wanted to do in his homeland.
I would love to find out more about that. That's interesting.
Yep.
Why didn't he take the job, I wonder?
No idea. Hey, can I get a little bit more of that? That's
Absolutely.
Good shit.
The article said it was a twofold. He really wanted to go back to Italy and accomplish what he had set out to do initially and unify try to unify his native land. But it was also he wanted Abraham Lincoln to guarantee the abolition of slavery, and at that point, Abraham Lincoln could not. He told him, "This is my complete intention, but I'm also a product of the constraints of the geopolitical affairs in the United States at that time. That was his goal, but So Garibaldi went back to Italy, and he's based. The reason they say he is the George Washington of Italy is because he was a master at organizing non-military, citizens and civilians into and using militias. Similar to how George Washington did in tactics of guerrilla warfare, which aren't conventional at the time, and he was successful. So people,
realistically,
dictators and tyrants fear that.
The downside of that is that's not 100% entirely accurate because George Washington was left with a friggin' dumpster fire.
Yeah.
It was actually what's his name, Marquis de Lafayette. Nope, the other one. He was the German guy that they couldn't verify his credentials. What the hell is it, von Steuben?
I can't remember his name. He was ousted from the German
Von
military.
Steuben,
he was
von
Steuben.
He was the one who
was
actually
homosexual, so they basically threw him out of Germany.
Right.
And
But they also couldn't verify his credentials either. I thought it was like he was Baron von Steuben was his name. Yes,
Yeah, but I mean, he whipped those sons of bitches
He
into
did.
shape,
Yeah.
man. So
Absolutely.
But you know what, though?
We
Honest
owe
to
him
God,
everything.
Yeah.
there are people in this world, and I find this. Yeah, I'm right. Thank you, Worship Brother Joe Schultz, von Steuben.
Von Steuben, yeah.
There are people in this world that, I mean, not all, most of your greatest talents were not educated. Like for Albert Einstein,
Not super formally educated.
not
dude.
super for Albert Einstein, perfect example. He was, ridiculously intelligent,
Yep.
and I think he like get out. He not failed out of high school, but
I think he flunked out of college. I don't think
something
he ended
that
up
I
going
know
to
that he wasn't-
university, and he was working in a patent office, and then that's
Right.
when he was developing some of his
I mean, you
initial
take it-
theories.
down to modern time. I mean, the Viet Cong.
Yeah.
They worked in
Yeah.
freaking rice paddies and whooped some ass. And
Yeah.
How about Benjamin Franklin? Brother Ben,
Yeah.
yeah. What they say, a second grade education, pretty much?
Yeah.
all right, so let's bring it back to you. So you found Freemasonry. You filled out the petition. You're about to
So I took my...
you're about to take the EEA.
Yep.
And I ask this question all the time. They get you in that prep room.
Yep.
The lights are low. You hear a little. What is it?
Worshipful Brother Ken is in there with you.
Worship while it gets in here. You're only by candlelight, and you hear a little bit of let's see here. Not Barry Manilow. What's the other guy?
Barry White.
Barry White. Thank you. You hear a little Barry White, and all of a sudden they tell you,
Jazz.
Right?
"Get naked." What's going through your head at this point?
I was glad I wore.
What?
I was glad I wore underwear that day.
Yeah.
So
Another rarity.
no,
I
actually,
joke, I laugh, I kid, but realistically, when they said it to me, I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here!" Like, but what the hell's going on? What's going on in your head?
So honestly, I didn't know what to expect with Freemasonry, and I was definitely coming from a place of some ignorance in the sense where I was like, I thought it was like, into kind of like the mythology you get from the movies where like, oh, it's the super elites, and like, are they gonna really embrace me? And then when I was in the preparation room ready to take my degree, all I could think about was, man, everyone's gonna see my tattoos and they're gonna think like, they're gonna think like. So the funny thing was,
I agree because I'm
all-
covered in skulls.
we
so,
all
I mean,
started to get changed, and I realized that like everybody has tattoos. Everybody in the room has tattoos. Like Ken's got these great ancient Egyptian like hieroglyphic tattoos, real colorful stuff, and Chris had his navy, and I was like,
Oh yeah, Chris.
it was such a load off for me. I wasn't.
He's got a tribal tattoo
I
around his
wasn't- I
arm. It might
wasn't-
as well be around his thigh.
No.
I wasn't nervous about taking a degree or any of that. I was nervous about being judged for my tattoos. So when I
Yeah,
saw
no,
everybody
it's-
else had tattoos, it was like the silliest thing. Now looking back,
There's
but-
past masters in that lodge that have like full sleeves.
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff.
Well
like, it's
now,
still-
well now I know, but
Yeah.
going into it, I
Yep.
was like, brother Dennis, right? He was on my investigative committee, and I remember I had mentioned, I said, I was an officer in my college fraternity, and he says, hey, listen here, buddy, I want to make this real clear. This ain't a drinking club. He goes, if you're looking for a drinking club, you go join the Elks. He goes, this is serious business. I said, all right. And then
And Dennis is the first one to like come down after a degree and like have a couple of drinks and just talk smack.
he's the
you know?
best. I love him
Yeah.
so much, and I was like, so when after I took my degrees, I was like, Dennis, what was all that about? I was like, you don't want competition? I was like, hey, you want to go? I said, you want to go?
Just wanted to scare
You want to
you.
go glass for glass?
And
Yeah,
honest to
but-
God, there's a lot of those screwing around games. I know Grand Lodge or Grand Lodges are going to frown upon that. Don't mess with them. But I mean, we don't really haze. Like, contrary to popular
not
belief,
at all. Not at all.
no one's getting the shit beat out of them.
Not
no
at
one's
all.
getting, beaten with paddles like in college fraternities stuff. So there's no real hazing. It's all about
No.
the experience. But I mean, if you're, this is my opinion, if you're going to solidify a close brotherly friendship, there's nothing better than fucking around with each other.
Yeah, you gotta have banter.
You gotta have banter. You
I mean,
have
come
to.
on now, yeah.
Like, so when, like I said, when you tell Ryan, like, hey Ryan, the goat's gonna come at around 3 o'clock. He's gonna kick you real hard. And he's in the bushes puking his brains out before his Master Mason degree. Like, and then afterward we laugh about it. Hey, it's fun, And again, all of that banter cuts off the minute that lodge opens.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And then it goes to seriousness.
Yep.
Once it closes, the banter begins again.
Yep.
And then you laugh about, you're puking in the bushes, you bitch. Like,
you got to have fellowship, right? That's part of it. Is
Yep.
you know, I mean, we do serious work. We do important charity work. We do important work for the community. But at the same time, we also have a good time. We have a lot of fellowship. You know what I mean? We have a lot of banter, and you know.
So this is what the shit I'm
keeps
talking about.
That keeps everything interesting.
Brother Jim Devaney,
What's the
Ken's
best?
tramp stamp.
Tramp stamp. It's like way too high up my back to be a tramp stamp.
Oh God.
You got to trip. I didn't see that one.
Devaney.
Yeah, this
that
happens all the time. This is the comments will kill
Next
you.
time I see you in lodge, Devaney, I swear to God.
Past masters, tramp stamp.
George, try to use a big word. I double dog dare you. What big word? I don't know.
Egregious.
It's an egregious request. All right.
I don't know.
I make.
First one that pops to mind.
Anyway, so you take your EA degree.
Yep.
You go through all the degrees. Where do you want to go from there? You just kind of like, I want to
So
sit
I-
as a brother on the
so
sideline, hang out.
You
wanna get active?
I was basically getting my bearings, getting a feel for everything once I took my 3 degrees, and I didn't want to get super involved right away. Although I did attend regularly, and I remember. This is right. We joined right around when the Perfect Ashler Award, I think, started becoming a
Oh
thing.
yeah, it was like a year or two before that.
And I remember Ken saying to me, like, "Why aren't you doing the Ashler? Like, you qualified for like all these things by just
So how-
showing up regularly." I was like, I don't know.
How
I
long
don't
you guys
wanna
been
do that."
Masons, if you don't mind me
It's gonna
asking?
be 10 years in November.
10 years.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm right around the 12, 13 mark or so, and that pissed me off when that freaking Ashlar thing came out because anybody,
were done
I was already
everything, yeah.
past everything.
Yeah.
God damn it! Like I've already been like, I think I was master at that point. I'm like,
Yep.
I did most of them, and I never filled out the paperwork. I was like, I'm not interested.
what's I'm saying? Like everything that was on the paperwork, I was like, oh.
In hindsight, I definitely encourage everybody now. And since then, I said, if you're just an active member at Harmony, you'll do like 3/4 of
Right.
the
Yeah.
things that.
Right.
Yeah, Kev is working on it now.
I mean,
So
it doesn't take much, right? It's literally
Not
like,
if you,
I think
not
the
if you
hardest
belong to
one.
an active lodge.
The hardest one, I think, was
attending
attending a Masonic funeral. I'm like, well, shit, I don't want to attend that damn thing. I hope it doesn't happen. Like, this
Yeah.
is one that I don't get, you
Yeah.
know? But, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's some of them that's like, shit, I don't know.
yeah.
But,
Just so everyone understands what the Perfect Ashler is, in our jurisdiction, we do
Talk about
have a Grand Lodge-based award that I think there's 15 or so things. How many? 18? Okay, and you have to do 10 of them, right? Yep. So there are things like attend a Masonic funeral or sit in, pro tem as an officer and like learn the job or tile a meeting or whatever.
Yep. Help set up a lodge room.
Yeah,
There's some
and
easy stuff
it's
on
just things to try to get you to learn more about masonry. When you're a young mason, you have to do it within your first year of becoming a master mason. I
one of them
believe.
is like, do a ritual or do a lecture.
do a lecture during the
degree.
degree. And if you get 10 out of those, 10 or more of those,
Which isn't hard because you got to learn it anyway. So
Yeah, that's why I did that one. I was like, proficiency, right? You already learned that lecture. You might as well do it in lodge. And that's actually what got me into ritual in the first place, was doing that, and then just learning more and learning more and learning more and doing it more and more often. But when you hand that in to your secretary, within a year of being Master Mason, you do at least 10 of those things. Grand Lodge will invite you to their next session and give you a nice award and I think a pin and a nice certificate.
Worship
cool
Brother
way.
Joe, we traded Ginger Joe for a different Joe.
Yeah.
We made a trade on the chopping block. What was I going to say? So you take the officer's chair. Did you go from bottom to top?
So the first chair I had the pleasure of serving in was as a marshal, and I served as the marshal for a couple years, and then I decided to get into the line, and I went in as a senior steward.
Okay, that's pretty much marshal, senior steward, junior steward, right?
Yeah, well,
that area is where you usually start.
Yeah, yep. I didn't want to get into the line necessarily right away. I didn't think I was, really ready for that. So I actually
Volunteer or voluntold?
No, I actually approached the master at the time, and I said, I'd like to get involved, but I don't want anything with like a considerable amount of responsibility. But I'd like to be more active. And they were like, "We got the perfect chair for you. You can be the marshal." So I did the marshal for a while, and then I got into the line. Around that time, I started getting involved with some of the appendant bodies, and I took some of my Scottish Rite degrees, and I actually went through the York Rite with worshipful brother Ken.
So, question for you. This is a question we've never asked anybody before. As a fairly new Mason, what was your biggest fear?
Probably in regards to like getting into the line or taking parts in the
Just
degrees. It was
everything about masonry.
It was probably the public speaking aspect.
Public speaking, okay.
You got some really articulate.
A lot of people say the purple.
You got
purple.
No, you know
It doesn't seem to bother him.
Well, not your lodge because they're freaking loaded full of purple, but
No, our lodge. Everybody, I really recognize and appreciated the environment that we have. You know, definitely at our lodge, but at all the lodges where everyone has a right to speak and.
Right.
You know, everybody meets on the level, and what made me kind of what I was nervous about was there's some really articulate and very intelligent and well-spoken brethren, and you hear some of these guys speak, and you're like, oh shit, now I'm gonna get up and try to like
beat that.
I'm gonna get up and try to like hang with that, you know,
Right.
contend with that. So it's kind of like definitely helps you sharpen your public speaking skills the more involved you get, and I think definitely like the degree work will help with that.
Right. And realistically, like, you know, you will do that throughout your entire Masonic career. Like, even like when I've done degrees, like when I've actually sat as master and I do my part, and you're sat as master, you think you did great, right?
Yep.
And then you go to another, Then you go to another lodge and you hear another brother do it, and you're like, fuck, I missed that word.
There's always somebody who does a lecture better than you. There's always
Damn,
somebody.
he did it better. I like the way he moved. I like the way he
Yep.
you know, did this, or I like the way he did that.
Yeah.
Or oh shit, I missed a word, or oh, you know, I missed that part, or you know, and it happens. You know, you're never perfect, and you try your best. But so I can understand that. And the reason why I said the purple is because that was my fear. Don't
purple,
forget.
yeah.
Don't forget.
guys.
When I was kind of coming up through, Marshall Robinson was the DD.
Yeah, I could see him as being intimidating.
Intimidating son of a bitch. Like, great guy.
Yep.
Great Mason. Intimidating as shit. And plus, he was a cop, too, which makes it all the worse. So, you know, he's got that.
I love Marshall. I feel like sometimes when I'm talking to him, I'm talking to like a general. You know,
There you go. That's
like,
exactly
like
what I'm talking about.
He yelled at him once,
This
too.
is what it must feel like to talk to like General Patton. You know?
Yeah.
But
Like, you're waiting for him to slap you and be like, stop being a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, he's got that,
He's a tremendous human being.
douche to him, I guess.
A tremendous human being. He definitely has a presence. But I'll tell you, when you get like a compliment or like a pat on the back from Marshall, it
means a lot.
It's rare.
It's like
yeah.
holy
It's
cow,
rare,
yeah.
it means a lot.
It's
Absolutely.
rare, yeah, because he definitely has a presence. It's like you know,
Didn't he tell somebody to tow your car once?
yeah.
And that man says he's going to tow your car. He like
This was early on.
means it.
You parked in the spot, didn't you?
No, well, I had this.
he's-
I had this old. It was like an '88 Benz, like an '88 300E, and it was rear wheel drive. And our parking lot, it's probably it's in rough shape. To be
Right.
able to pave it, we'd have to put in catch basins and spend like a
Yeah.
ton of money.
You're talking about
for
the back
city.
of that Highland.
Yeah, the back of the
Yeah,
lot.
the
So
dirt
so
lot
that
there,
thing
yeah.
turns in before we had like the stones put in, like it was milled a little bit. It used to just turn into a mud bowl. And I was like, I'm gonna get stuck in here and have to like, you know.
Right.
You know, so I was like, I just parked at like the right next to like the second entrance or like the exit of the lot, and somebody comes inside and goes, "Hey, there's a strange car parked blocking the lot." And Marshall Robinson gets up and goes, "Well, tow that shit." He's like, immediately. And I said, "Well, immediately." I said, "Well, guys, hang on." I said, "It's my car. It's all right. I'll move it." You know, and he got a little upset. He was like, "Well, what are you doing parking there? Don't you know you're blocking?" I said, "Listen, I said I didn't want to park in the lot because I knew I was going to get stuck." And I said there was a big attendance that night. I said the street's kind of loaded up. I didn't, I was trying to get in and get ready. Didn't want to park far away. And he's going, "You can't block the lot. You got to move that right now."
Yeah.
He's a brand new Mason too.
I was relatively new, and I was like, all right, I didn't want to make this dude angry, but I was just glad my car didn't get towed like immediately.
That's fun.
I was like, imagine if I was in the bathroom or something, and they're like, get that car towed immediately.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, he don't play games. But like I said, he is an absolute gentleman. He's a great guy. You got to respect the fact that in lodge, it's time to be serious, like he means business, and you
yeah.
don't want to
Yep.
tread lightly, you know.
He don't play.
Not tread lightly when Marshall's in the room, and that's important. But in a social setting, I mean, he's a hilarious,
You also
heartfelt, absolute gentleman.
don't want to be the Mason to screw up your ritual on the
know.
night that he's the master.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I'm not this. Listen, Ken's a very humble guy. He's an awesome ritualist. I struggle a little bit with degree work, and I'm good at selling though, because I'm good at improv. I come from a stage and film background. But
And again, I remember we did a degree at Harmony. I was second craft. I was second ruffian. Ken was first.
Which is not my favorite
This is
part to do,
before
yeah.
we did this.
Yeah.
Ken did fine. I'm usually third guy. I like being third guy. I'm small. I'm compact.
Yeah, you get the same number of lines.
I got a little bit of flight. If everybody's picking up on me, I can propel myself at someone. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But I was second this night, and I wasn't good at it. And I'm not good at it. It's not my part.
Yeah.
So we did second. I screwed up.
And Marshall's always the
Marshall.
master for the second half. Master Mason.
You already know where this is going,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. 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 You're ruining it, George.
Shit! No, I'm even worse on the spot now. So now
now
I'm
you
like,
get nervous.
now I'm nervous, and I'm screwing it up even worse. So I understand that. Favorite chair in the lodge, besides the master. Master's not fun.
The Masters
Just started.
just started. Yeah.
So he hasn't had his baptism by fire yet.
I don't know. Have you?
Have you had your baptism by fire?
I'm not sure what that is.
No chaos yet?
I've said this
far?
before.
No,
Every single
yeah,
master has one thing that happens during their year that is just a shit show. Something goes crazy.
Don't put the jinx on me.
Yeah.
I'm not putting the jinx on you. It may be small, it may be large, but you're going to have a situation. So besides that, what was your favorite, besides the Masters, what I was kind of driving at, what was your favorite position moving from bottom to top?
So that's an interesting question. I think I'd have to say I did enjoy the warden's chairs.
Yep.
I think junior warden I liked because that's the first time you're in one of the you're in the South, you're in one of the principal officer's chairs,
right?
And I think that's like, you notice the change as you progress through the chairs. You get more and more responsibility, but it's also structured that there are like lulls before you get a position where there's way more involvement. You kind of have a chair in between, and that's one of the chairs where it's like, all right, well, now you're principal officer,
right?
And
better start studying the degrees.
Better start studying the degrees.
I mean,
because you're third guy in line to run the degrees.
Right,
and it's
right.
like, but if you have a strong and an active lodge, you're not going to be typically put on the spot to be acting master as a junior warden.
I always found most people like the senior deacon, and I truly feel that you're more active in the lodge because I mean realistically, you go from junior deacon where you get like what 2 lines at the beginning and the end
to running the degree.
So we're doing
basically.
the whole degree.
basically you're the point guy.
Yep.
Doing the floor work.
Yeah.
And it's a jump from going from basically the first 3 guys in line, senior, junior, this junior and senior stewards, and the junior deacon really don't do much. The stewards do, right? They
Oh,
do a
no,
little bit more.
don't say that he doesn't do much, man. He's going to, like...
No. I'm saying, but like...
He'll throw you out that window.
Shake them.
Those guys bust their asses, man. You don't have much of a part in the degree as some of the other
Stewards
officers.
do.
Stewards do.
The stewards do, yes.
Junior deacon's got
deacon.
one line during a degree. One line.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yep.
So you go from basically doing stuff as a steward, right, to junior deacon, basically doing nothing, to senior deacon,
which is doing
here you go,
everything.
kid.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have at it.
Yeah.
And then you go back to the junior warden.
But it works.
It works.
Like it's the genius of the Masonic institution because when you're an officer and you're going through that, like you realize that there's manifest design in that. Like they did it that way for a reason to teach you how to become a leader. It's pretty cool.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So you become the master. You get elected. How was your election night? Nerve-wracking?
No,
Shit
actually.
yourself? The reason why I'm asking is because I know your lodge is progressive, right? Progressive line for the most part.
Yep.
Our lodge is not, which means you have to earn your bones here. If you don't earn your bones, you ain't moving. And it's happened multiple times already. Our election night
Well, I mean, there is. I just want to say we do have veto power, right? Like if you're,
it's still an
the
election.
lodge still has to
election,
elect
yeah.
you to be a junior warden. If you're not ready for it, then they will find
really?
some other.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
not so progressive. Doesn't
Some lodges are
necessarily
just
mean-
progressive. They just push and push
Right,
and push.
yes.
Well, now, as part of our tradition, when you're a principal officer, either a junior or a senior warden, you will have to run a degree as master before you can progress to the next chair. So it's
Okay.
usually the junior warden does an
So
EA.
you got to earn your bones.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got you show that you're proficient and suitable,
Right.
and it's important because if there ever was a case where the master is absent and the senior warden is absent, then the junior warden should be prepared to be able to run the degrees. So it is an important part of the process. But
You wouldn't believe how many freaking people get caught with their freaking pants around their ankles with that, though.
oh yeah,
When
absolutely.
they not talking about degrees, because usually everybody's pretty good with that. But I mean,
Opening
how many
and
times
closing.
where you have a junior, where a master and a senior warden are like, "Yeah, I'm not making it tonight. I'm at work or I'm sick or whatever the hell," and then you get the junior warden get up there and he's like,
I mean, you've got to be ready to do that. You take the obligation when you're installed in that position,
And that's
right?
why
if you gloss it over and you're not taking it seriously, then you're putting the whole lodge at risk.
And that's why I say the junior warden I think was definitely a standout chair for me, because that's when you're okay, now you're responsible for you may be lower on the tier, but you are responsible for running the lodge
pretty much.
if it comes down to that. So it's like,
So your election night wasn't stressful. You weren't like,
no.
You wanted the master chair. You wanted to be master.
I never actually planned on being master. I thought I would go through some of the chairs, and then I probably would move, or I
around,
I
in a
couldn't.
sense.
It was almost like I couldn't imagine being being the master. So when it came around, I was like, okay, I'm definitely gonna prepare for this and plan my year out and do the best job that I can do. But it still felt pretty surreal until relatively recently. So
Yeah, I remember. There's been election nights here where it's like pins and needles. It's like, oh, is he gonna get it? Is he gonna get it? Is he gonna get it?
No,
and then the vote
not
comes in.
sure.
It's like 9-9. You're like, oh, we gotta re-vote again. Like,
I'm very, very humbled and grateful and blessed that everybody had such confidence in me, because it was a unanimous.
Oh, it was unanimous.
It was a unanimous vote, and
we always get some shitbag who writes in like either
the secretary's name or
the
something.
secretary's
Captain
name
Crunch.
or something like that.
yeah, Captain Crunch.
Okay, I don't. Well, no, we don't get it like horsing
I'm kidding,
around
I'm
like
kidding.
that.
Yeah.
We
No,
get,
it is
but we'll
serious.
get like a rando. It's like Joseph Pisani for Worshipful Master, 9 votes, 1 vote. George Marjorie. It's like, what the? Who are you? Like,
Who's doing this?
I think our secretary votes for someone else every year, and it's almost unanimous except his vote. He votes for somebody else.
Oh, for secretary. Yeah, because he doesn't want to be secretary.
He doesn't
yeah.
want to be secretary. But
that was me for like 3 years.
It'll be
now.
like 23 votes for Marty, and then it'll be like 1 vote for somebody random, and it's like that was Marty's vote.
Yeah.
He was
And our last election we had here, well, I don't know, not the last one, the one before that, it was, and again, I was conditioning Rafferty to take over as secretary, so that's where we were going. But it literally, the freaking secretary thing came out 5-5 or like 5-5 or like 7-5 or 7-7 or something. It was dead even, and I'm like, guys, we talked about this. I'm done.
Yep.
We talked about this. Why is it coming out even? But
Clearly
whatever.
not enough.
So you become the master.
Yep.
Without getting into detail. Oh, you had already taken the York Rite degrees then, huh?
So I took the York Rite degree. So I actually had COVID for the past master's degree, so I didn't attend. But
Okay.
the way it
All
worked
right.
out is by taking the York Rite degrees, I was able to just take the obligation
So you took
to serve as master. But
you took the virtual
no, actually
virtual past master.
Yeah,
right?
in York, right?
In
yes.
York Rite.
Yeah.
in New York,
Which
Rite,
is pretty much identical to the, without getting into detail.
Different
Yep.
obligation.
How'd you feel after that past master degree?
That was great. I really enjoyed all of the appendant body degrees, and I'm really grateful that I was able to do them. In addition to worshipful brother Ken taking those degrees with me, my father did actually as well. So it was definitely a very memorable time for me.
There are 2 degrees in masonry, and I don't know if you've ever taken the second one. 2 degrees in masonry, and the second one kind of has fallen off the wagon a little bit. But there's 2 degrees in masonry that involves horseplay, excuse me, but will
It's going.
absolutely remind you of your Masonic obligations. One of them being the past master degree, and the other one being the perfect craftsman degree.
Yep.
Those 2 degrees. Have you taken it yet?
Perfect. Is that a
Perfect
York
craftsman is no, it's not a York Rite degree. It's like a
extra degree.
Yeah,
in a
it's
sense.
like a sort of a fun degree.
It's not a sanctioned degree,
All right,
but it's a
that
fun
one, I don't
degree.
believe I've taken that one. Yep.
Those 2 degrees will absolutely remind you of your Masonic obligation and make you look like an ass while you're taking it.
Yeah.
They are the fun ones.
They're humbling degrees.
They're humbling
meant to
degrees.
humble you and remind you.
And they do a good job. Granted, I wish it was the perfect craftsman of like the 1960s and not today.
Yeah.
Because they had a lot more
Did you
fun
take
with
that
it.
one that was up here?
I took it way before then.
Okay. Well, there was like I don't know if you were here that night where it was like the first Masonic district was doing the.
Yes, I was here that
craftsman.
night.
I have a dues card from them too.
Nothing like I took. Let's
Okay.
put it that way.
All
Mine
right.
was way worse.
Okay.
They do things to ridicule you
Okay.
for being so stupid.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
again, Ken,
It's a reminder.
the one that was done here
Yeah.
was different than what I was done.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Fair enough.
And we'll leave it at that. But
You took the 1970s version, I guess.
I did.
I'll have to keep my eye out for one. So.
Yeah, if it comes around, and I wanted to get it going.
What
the
is
third,
it part of? Is it part of Scottish Rite?
No,
Or
it's
part
just
of-
it's
It's
own
just
thing.
its
It's
own
just
thing.
like
Interesting.
the Council of Past Masters does the past
And
master
that was the f-
degree.
that
It's
was-
kind of like that, and it's not every district has
first.
it. but
Interesting,
I think
okay.
yeah, it was. It might
I
have been
did
the
it.
first.
It was first district because my dues card says the 4th district, so I had it done by an entirely.
Oh, okay.
I had it done in Meriden.
Okay.
And they were talking. I was trying to actually revive it here or get it going in the 3rd district and hope people would participate and wanted to make it the actual full thing,
Yeah.
including the field day.
Yeah, we don't have one here.
And,
in the third right now. We
I
should do that.
Interesting.
We should.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get back to you here. So, master year.
Yep.
What are your plans?
So my plans, in a general sense, is basically to be able to have the most events that we can do that'll bring participation and fellowship amongst the craft that it's feasible to do. We're doing specifically a George Washington dinner later this month. We actually had to put a cap on it because we had such a good turnout for RSVPs.
Yeah, really
that's a good
quickly.
thing.
That seems to be
That's a good thing.
This seems to be a trend with Worshipful Brother Joe's administration here because every event and every degree and every meeting he's had has had like double the normal attendance.
I think it's great that you have an administration. I think when I was coming through, it was
Yeah.
a regime.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an administration, but we get a lot of brothers showing up.
And I mean, you're not
going
going to have to worry about dues, right? Because I mean, you got this guy who fell out of the fucking beanstalk, the techno Viking over here, that'll just
no Viking.
just
He
start
looks anything
kicking
like
doors
that
in.
guy.
I mean,
Right.
you're not going to have to worry, but you're not going to have a problem with dues. I mean,
No, I'm definitely blessed that
you should have him stand next to the
what?
secretary's desk.
I honestly think that with the what's going on, what's happened recently with the pandemic and the different regulations, we haven't been able to be as active in the last couple years as we have beforehand. That
Right.
people are kind of yearning for
Yeah,
a sense of normality and a place to gather. And I think that's a big part of why we have such a active year amongst the craft with the stuff that we have
and
planned.
you guys got a pretty active lodge too.
We got a
It's-
pretty active lodge. We're also drawing in a lot of brothers from surrounding lodges, which is awesome. Which is really was a goal of mine too, is to be able to travel a little bit more and to be able to interact and help each other basically be more unified in the Masonic traditions. So in addition to the George Washington dinner, which we have coming up, I'm planning on doing a special degree actually on St. Patrick's Day as one of our regular stateds that we're doing an MM. So we're going to do a kilted degree with an Irish dinner.
like the Caledonians.
Like the Caledonians. So it's been specifically relayed to me that the Caledonians are defunct. They're no more. However, a lot of the old members of the Caledonians are willing to participate in this MM degree.
Interestingly enough, they're back just for Joe.
So, no, I can't take. Listen, I can't take. I'm for what I may lack in ritual work. I definitely make up for. I can say, in administrative
capabilities. Yeah, for sure.
I know I'm talented in recognizing who I can approach within the craft to be able to participate or organize or get my vision basically for different things passed through. So I have to give a lot of credit to Marshall Robinson, actually, believe it or not, most worshipful brother Marshall. He's definitely been a big help, and worshipful brother Dan Sharkus, and actually, brother Larry Brandolini, who's also on the committee I appointed specifically for the St. Patrick's Day.
And they're all former Caledonians.
And I just want to be clear, I would love to help.
Caledonians.
I would love to help,
Yep.
but even if I wore a miniskirt, it would look like I was in Juniper Creek, like a freaking in the Mormon complex. You know what I'm talking about? Where they got those long
Well,
sundresses to their ankles. That's me. He's got the whole.
No kilt for him. He's just,
Well, we absolutely invite you to come join us if you're not doing anything. I know St. Patrick's Day, a lot of people have plans already. It's a big.
My ass will probably end up working.
Yeah.
probably,
Okay.
yeah,
But you know, we definitely now we're offering an option as far as Masonic activities go for brothers that night if they're not, you know, especially I know some of our older brothers might not be going out to the bar or doing.
Right.
So this is a way for them to come celebrate, and you know, we plan on doing traditional Irish meal and having a kilted degree with bagpipes and. You know, I think that's going to be something we're probably going to have a really good turnout as well.
Oh, yeah.
In addition to that, we like to do a Civil War degree, which is in full uniform, usually in a private location outside during the warmer time of the year. Worshipful Brother Ken has actually graciously accepted the appointment to the committee that I had put him on for the
Another
Civil War
smart
degree.
move since I'm a part of that club where the degree is put on. So,
Right.
yeah.
Oh,
Smart.
up there at that
Undisclosed
the
location
undisclosed
where we did our,
location, yes.
our
Gotcha,
rifle
gotcha.
exposition
Yep,
that
yep,
one
yep.
time. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's an event that usually will draw brothers from different
Right.
states, from within the state. So I have a lot of things planned like that. This is our 225th anniversary year as a just and lawfully constituted lodge of
That's
Masons.
awesome.
So that's probably what I was most nervous about going as master for this year is you know,
Having to do that.
having
All
that on the
for us.
table. So we are planning on having a invitation only gala event in celebration of the 225th, and there's going to be there's a lot of intricacies and planning that's going into that. So we've actually started that right as soon as I was installed. I started working on that and appointing committees and
That's
basically trying to put that together. So we're planning on doing that in early November. Aside from that, trying to basically just give brothers an option, in regards to breaking up kind of the monotony of life, or when you come to lodge, there's something kind of like extracurricular in a sense. There's another,
Right.
There's more options than we've been able to have in the past because of the various constraints due,
Right.
due to current events. So I'd like to look at this period as an opportunity to give everybody a chance for things to get back to normal as best we can in whatever capacity we can. So
Masonic resurgence.
Masonic resurgence and a social resurgence, and it's just I know a lot of lodges in this in the state that they definitely were significantly affected by not being able to have our regular activities due to all the things we had to do for the for the pandemic. So
Right.
I think it's important to be able to have some sense of getting back to normal and doing as much as you can with with the things we have available to us. So I'm blessed that I belong to a lodge that has active brethren, and we're in a good position financially and within the community to be able to have events and be able to do a lot of different charity work that that's very important, and be able to offer the brothers a good reason to be active and to want to come to lodge and to to miss lodge when they don't come. So
Give them what they signed up for.
and I also have to say that we definitely have a really strong line of officers where I know that all the work that we're going to do as a lodge this year will be carried forward through future generations. And honestly, I think that's our biggest responsibility as Masons, is with the time we are allotted, in our lifetime to be active in our lodges. What are we going to leave for our descendants?
I wanted to ask, you did point somebody as chaplain, right?
I did, yes.
Yeah. Aren't you chaplain?
No, that's not me. I'm Tyler.
Tyler.
He's
I thought you were chaplain.
He's the
No,
chaplain
that
of
was-
Blue Lodge Council.
Yeah.
Right?
Ah,
That was
okay,
like 2
okay,
or
that's
3
what
years
we're
ago. I
talking
was
about.
chaplain
Okay,
of
yeah,
Blue
yeah.
Lodge.
I could have sworn you said
And
chaplain.
now
That's
Blue
right.
Lodge Council.
Blue Lodge Council.
Blue Lodge Council and Vice President, actually.
Your VP?
I think so.
I could've swore you
Or
said
no,
chaplain.
that's Council of Past Masters. I'm
Council of
VP.
Past Masters,
Yeah,
yep.
so I'm chaplain of Blue Lodge
Lodge
Council. I
Council.
get confused with all these organizations. Man.
Plus the stuff we're appointed to in the appendant bodies that we don't
Yeah,
even know.
that we just got voluntold or like, hey,
I
you
asked
don't- you
somebody-
need to show up for installation night. I'm like, why? It's like because you're like the third in command of Commandery. I'm like,
Pretty much. So before we shut this down, one thing I want to do is I'm going to turn my mic over to the mountain over here. If anybody's seen Game of Thrones,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I have to ask, exactly how big are you? Because again, I know people are watching on YouTube, but this also goes on Apple and Spotify, and there's no video. So exactly your name first off, your name, position, in the lodge, and then how fucking big are you?
All right, so my name is Kevin Kozlowskis. I'm the senior steward of Harmony. I'm 6'6" and about 330.
Yeah, I'm
There's
about
something-
5'7" and maybe pushing 210.
Look, we got something in the water over at Harmony Lodge
So
in
I'm just
Waterbury.
saying-
All right, we're all large men.
When I said before he's casting a shadow on me, he's big as fuck.
Yeah.
But real
I
quick,
look up to him, which is weird. It always unnerves me when I have to look up to somebody. I have to look up to him.
yeah.
Well,
I'm shorter
I
than
didn't
that.
want to make you nervous, but me and Kev actually met as we were both bouncers at Sin City nightclub.
There you go.
Years ago in Waterbury, and that's how we became friends initially. Yeah, probably about 8 or 9 years ago. So
The one night I didn't bring my pistol because I'm wearing sweatpants.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
what are you gonna do? Make him angry with it?
I know, right?
yeah.
The fucking rounds will be bouncing back off at me. Real quick, though, I want to give you a couple minutes for your mic. Just talk about your Masonic career, talk about how you started quickly, and talk about where you're at and what you're looking to do in the future with Freemasonry.
Absolutely.
And how long you've been a Mason.
That's a lot of questions.
So I took my EA back in April of last year. I petitioned probably a year and a half earlier, but due to the pandemic, I couldn't proceed. I actually got involved in Masonry because of Joe. I knew he was a Mason for years, had a bunch of questions for him, and then decided that it's something I wanted to pursue. Again, it's a common answer, but I joined Masonry because a lot of famous people, a lot of well-respected people joined Masonry or were Masons. So I wanted to kind of see what that was about. I wanted to see what all these well-known people that are well-respected, they're not only well-respected, but they're monumental. I mean, most of the founding fathers were Freemasons.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to see what it is that they thought Masonry was or made, and yeah, decided that that's something I want to be a part of.
You think you found it?
Yeah,
All right.
definitely. I would say Masonry makes me a better person. Going back to the question before, what do you fear being an officer? I don't want to let anybody in the lodge down, so I want to do what I can to just be the best that I can be at what I'm doing.
Yeah, you're doing an awesome job so far.
It's exactly what the steward is supposed to do. You have to learn how to follow before you can learn how to lead.
So a couple things
That's
that
the
I
design of it.
want to quickly just talk about. One, my fear is that he won't fucking eat me.
Kevin's not going to eat.
Secondly, he's just proven that Napoleon syndrome is actually a thing because I'm loud as shit. He's soft-spoken and big as fuck. So, I mean, clearly Napoleon syndrome is kind of a thing.
It's because he doesn't need to like.
He doesn't have to.
He
He
really
could pop me
doesn't
like a fucking pimple if he wanted to. I'm just throwing it out there. But, Mr. Ken,
Yes, brother.
we're gonna load him up.
Okay. I don't know. I've had some delightful wine, and now we're gonna drink my cheap, crappy whiskey. All right.
That's actually a delicious whiskey.
Is it?
I have
You
to
like
say.
this one?
I did like it a lot.
It's not bad. It's definitely not.
I'm a jarhead. I'll drink turpentine. I don't give a shit.
It's not.
I got we brought some
top
crayons
shelf.
for you.
This actually came from a.
Are they
PS.
red? So,
Oh, did you
I
get-
would like
you
to
did.
toast you, Worshipful Master,
Thank you.
as
Thank you.
well as your junior steward. And I want to thank you guys for coming up here and hanging out with us, having a good old time with us. We don't have another shot glass, do we?
We do. If you give me 1 second. Keep talking.
Hurry up.
Thank you very much for having me. And
It's been a lot of fun, and I really like bringing up masters up here and talking about their lodges and their years and the things that they do, because it does. If there are other masters or even other masons who are officers waiting for their master's years, I imagine somewhere in the world they're sitting down right now with a notepad saying, "Oh, that's a great idea. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a great idea. That's a good idea." But for especially for lodges who have a master where their lodge really doesn't do much.
yeah.
That's how you bring this thing back, is when you do activities.
If I can humbly offer any advice as a master or running an organization like this.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only a little left. You want me to fill this to the brim? Because it's probably like...
Give him,
Just give him the bottle, yeah.
give him a steward-sized glass
That's
there.
what I'm saying. Like, big as shit. It won't even affect them.
If I could offer any piece of advice to someone that's in a position, similar to this, I would say that try to be able to recognize and utilize the talents of your members to the best of your abilities and in the most efficient way, because everybody has something to offer, and I think that's what's important. What's great about Masonry is that we are all created as equals, and in regards to that, we all have our strengths and weaknesses, and if we utilize our strengths in whatever different departments or areas of specialty, you really can achieve monumental things. And I think that's something important that we can all remember. It doesn't matter how big or small your lodge is, that your brothers are talented in their own specific areas. And when you utilize that, and when you come together and you share ideas, there's nothing that can keep you from accomplishing what you set out to do.
Right.
It's important to have realistic goals and I guess you could say different missions or things you want to attempt, but be able to recognize that it's important to see the potential in everyone in their respective capacity. And when you do that, you'll be able to, the Masonry is all volunteer. We all come, we give our time. It's not a paid position. We're not looking to get anything out of it other than we share common goal and principles. And, that's what I can say for any master that's listening or anybody that's going to go into the East. They have a lot to worry about as far as administrative and the logistics of things, but it's important to realize, be able to engage your brethren, because everybody has something to offer.
Yep. It's good advice.
And if I can give you any advice as a master, when something happens, just be calm. Keep a cool head. And don't forget, you have a plethora of past masters that you can call on a dime, including ones that aren't even part of your lodge. Maybe it's something you don't want your past masters or your brothers in the lodge to know.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can call another past master or a past district deputy or your district deputy, and you can always lean on and ask for advice.
Yep.
And it'll stay right with them.
Yep.
True. That's a good point.
With that being
you.
said, let's toast him, Kenny.
All right.
To Worship Brother Joe Pisani and Worship Master of Harmony 42.
Pisani.
Pisani. I know I was going to do
Close
You did
enough.
good a whole night.
Yeah, I know.
I did good the whole fucking
Right
night.
up until the end.
Well, I mean, he did ask me to use a big word, and I screwed up a small one, so whatever. It's par for the course for me.
And our brother steward, Kevin.
And our
Gonzalez.
brother steward.
Yep. All right. Brethren.
You want to lead it? Yeah, it's your
I
lodge.
thought
Do
You
it.
just told me to do it.
Did I? Did I?
It's the second time.
God damn.
All right.
Slacking tonight. Go
Oh,
ahead.
my God. Brethren, right hand to arms.
2 arms.
Ready.
Ready?
Aim.
Aim.
Fire good fire. Fire all. Together, brethren. Viva! Viva! Viva!
Good luck to you, Worship Master.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for
you.
coming up.
Yeah, this was
You
a good
as well.
time, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out.
All right. Let's shut it down.
All right.
For the Freemasons Podcast, I am Right Worship Brother George Mudry, signing off.
Worshipful brother Joe.
What?
That's actually you. Next to me. Worshipful brother Ken signing off.
And you were making fun of me for fucking up. Look at you now.
It had to happen.
Cyborgs have ghosts in the system.
Yeah, I just glitched out there for a
Go
second.
ahead.
Have a great one, everybody. Thank you.
I got you. Go on.
Good night,
Take
friends.
care, everybody.
Have a good night.